So I come to Sokoto, I visit the governor, maybe you are aware about that. I visited the governor. In fact, I have to do something for the victims that were in the hospital within my own capacity. I called Mr. President when I was in Maradon, and he directed me that I should quickly go to Sokoto to condole with the people and the government of Sokoto, which I did. And a committee was set up to find out the cause of what happened. But sometimes, you know, we have problem on ourselves. Because I remember it's the same thing that happens when I was a governor. A community will sometimes call army as distress call if militants or bandits are coming to their communities. So when they come with both air and ground. The unfortunate situation that we have, some of these locals, they hold arms. And if we send our drones, particularly in the night, the drones has a sensor. What the sensor can detect is weapons. So if you see anyone with weapons, definitely that drone will strike that person. Because there is no anywhere that the government allow people to carry arms, nowhere in the law. And for the security to see someone with motorbike, because that is what the bandits are doing. So if they saw them, or maybe the sensor detects such people with arms, definitely they will strike them. And that is exactly what happened. And I discussed with the governor, but despite the fact that, yes, it happens, we have a committee that was set up in the ministry to find out the cause of what happened, and we are going to make it public for people to understand what happens, and we assure you that we're going to do justice for those that lost their life. Thank you. I'm serious about taking care of them even if they were killed. They will be more serious and they will go out fight this. So I think you can consider some adjustment on the budget to approve something for this group life insurance. We propose like 20 billion. It will not be enough, but at least if we can have 20 billion, we can be able to reduce the tensions that we have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm aware that they blocked the Ministry of Finance, no in, no out. I have to talk to Mr. President, and he directed the Minister of Finance to release that funds and be paid that day. So we have no problem with that. Therefore, I will cross-check this, but I'm not aware about 6 months, and maybe it is there. Okay, please, let me have the details, please. Thank you.
Okay, final question from the...
We're going to check about that, and we ensure that that payment must be paid. And these are the people that we expect them to perform magic. And for us in the ministry, we have a lot of challenges. Many people are calling us, like my friend, Honorable Saraswali, Sokoto, we have a lot of challenges. But all is heading to the ministers or the Ministry of Defense. While look at the budget of 2025, just 50 billion. We have shortfall of 18 billion of the last year's budget. And people expect the ministry to do wonders. I was in Sokoto, the honorable member will testify to that. I went to Sokoto by myself. Nobody sponsored me to go to Sokoto. I did it in my pocket, just to ensure people live with both their two eyes closed. My colleague Badar went to Zamfara, he went to Katsina, the same thing, because there is no provision in the budget. In fact, the Ministry of Defense is supposed to provide some equipment for some of the zones, but we cannot. Out of what we have in 2024, we can be able to provide just 20 APCs. What 20 APCs can do. In Katsina alone, Mr. Chairman, if we can be able to have 50 APCs that can go inside bush to flush out those criminals, I assure you, within 2 months, we'll finish the issue of banditry. But there is no provision for that. People have been complaining that money being given to defense. What is this is what we have. And people are expecting us to do extra things out of the budget. We cannot do it, Mr. Chairman. So I believe this House will consider more funding to the Ministry of Defense, so that even within our own, as a ministers, we can be able to provide some equipment to some flash areas of attacks. It is all over the country. If you go to southwest, southeast, northeast, north central, northwest. But if you look at the budget of 2025, 50 billion to Ministry of Defense. There's other people outside are thinking that the whole money of Nigeria is into the Ministry of Defense. It is not like that. You know about that. We cannot be able to renovate any barracks in 2024. We have a lot of complaints. We cannot be able to pay some of their entitlement, the military. They are into theaters, operations. We cannot be able to pay. In fact, this month, I have to write a letter to Mr. President to pay even the presidential guards. The money was not there. So, Mr. Chairman, I believe this committee can look into the issue of the Ministry of Defense to see how you can be able to squeeze and add more funding to the ministry so as at least you can expect more from us. We thank you very much, and we assure you that despite the fact that with the limited resources, the ministry and the personnel are doing their best to ensure safety of all citizens. I thank the honorable members for listening to us. Thank you very much, sir. The challenges we have in the ministry, as the chairman has rightly said, that you have scrutinized the performance of 2024 budget. But we have some challenges. One, we have an inadequate budgetary provision. The headquarters and civilian personnel unit are unable to meet their obligations, resulting in the accumulation of debt on services and staff entitlement. We have non-payment and accumulated bills of group life insurance, which is very important, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the very important issues that we have is non-payment and accumulated bills of group life insurance for military personnel, which I believe, or I requested the committee for consideration of maybe the sum of 20 billion as an additional funds for payment of families of deceased military personnel. That is one of our challenges. In conclusion, honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, the ministry is, okay, I think we have another issue. Mr. Chairman, if you look at the budget of 2024, most of the barracks, the allocation being made is zero. How do we expect the personnel of the military to perform while their living standard is inadequate? Including Honorable Phillips, I know
He is a firm supporter of our tax bill.
At all times. I'm particularly delighted to note that the chairman and the esteemed members are always willing and ready to prioritize members that concern the ministry, all matters. And I do not want to take this for granted. Mr. Chairman, sir, honorable members, the achievement recorded so far by the ministry would not have been possible without the cooperation of the committee. Therefore, on behalf of myself and the esteemed members from the Ministry of Defense, I want to thank you all. Mr. Chairman, I'm now to present the budget performance releases at as 10 January 2025. See Annexure A, if you have this brief. Honorable members, I hereby wish to present to you the Ministry's 2024 budget performance report as highlighted below.
Honorable Minister, like I said, as during the oversight visits,
You are highlighting priority activities, program, and project of the Ministry elaboration on the aspiration of the government to my chairman and my brother. Though I know there is some people here, particularly someone who wear a goggle, but if you say I should go, he will like to ask me a question. That is Honorable Awalu.
Stability. Over the years, the armed forces of Nigeria have demonstrated remarkable commitment and professionalism, achieving significant progress in countering insurgency, terrorism, banditry, and other forms of insecurity. Yet, the dynamic nature of these challenges demands continuous adaptation and innovation. Recognizing this, the National Assembly has consistently prioritized the defense sector in the national budget, with increased allocations in recent years. However, with these enhanced resources comes a heightened expectation for prudent, transparent, and impactful utilization. As representatives of the people, it is our duty to ensure that every naira is judiciously spent to strengthen the operational capacity of the armed forces and deliver tangible results. This year's budget defense is particularly significant as it comes against the backdrop of evolving global and domestic security threats. These recent developments highlight the need for heightened vigilance and interagency collaboration. We must leverage intelligence, technology, and best practice to neutralize emerging threats and safeguard our citizens. As we deliberate on the 2024 budget, I urge all defense 2025 budget, I urge all defense agencies to prioritize strategic initiatives that align with national security objectives. Your proposal should emphasize measurable outcomes, operational efficiency, and fiscal accountability. It is also crucial to address recurring challenges such as delays in project implementation, resource mismanagement, and the need for capacity building programs to equip personnel with modern skills. Finally, let me reaffirm the commitment of the 10th House of Representatives to supporting our armed forces in their noble mission. We remain steadfast in our resolve to ensure a peaceful, secure, and prosperous Nigeria. This budget defense is therefore not just a legislative exercise, but a reaffirmation of our collective responsibility to the Nigerian people. Thank you, and I look forward to a productive session.
Of innocent person in a village of Silami local government of Sokoto State, whereby more than 15 people were burned to ashes and some were injured and are still in hospital. My question is, what measures is the ministry taking with regard to this accident in terms of finding the cause and then the disciplinary action as well as means of compensation to the victims of this accident? Thank you very much.
War study tour. That wouldn't have been possible if not for the assistance of this committee. We are aware that some similar institutions were not able to embark on this tour because of funding constraints, but we had to embark on the tour because we have foreign participants that are with us, and it will have been most inappropriate if we're not able to go on the tour because of the negative perceptions that these countries will have about us. Also, to place on record the support of the committee that has also enabled us to take our solar power generation project to about 90% now, and that has also assisted us. Otherwise, our constraints that would have been reading would have been more. For instance, we would have been emphasizing more on petroleum products, we have been emphasizing more on the tariff, but the solar has actually helped us to drive down some costs. Nevertheless, we still had lots of challenges with funding last year, even though we were able to go on the tour, but it came at huge cost because the deficit that came from that from that exercise alone is quite huge. It's more than half of what we got as overall recurrent expenditure. We would like, if it's possible, for the committee to please consider an increment in some of our overhead costs. This will amount to a total of 6,420,000,000 naira only, and this will cover petroleum, oil and lubricants, research grants, because it is something that even some of the members pointed out during your oversight visit to the college. Now, why is it that in our budget proposal there is hardly anything for research? And that is how the NDC budget has been over the years. It is for us imperative that we have dedicated funding for research. For instance, we embark on lots of research without any budgetary provision, which we have to now source from one way or the other. But then the key for us is there's this plan which the House is very much aware of transmitting from a college now to a university, and the draft bill has already been submitted. This will come with additional requirements. For instance, we will need to have more institutes and centers, some of which have been established, and then these institutes and centers will also need to be funded. And then, of course, the overall structure of the college is going to be altered. We also have the problem of expecting, perhaps in the next 1 to 2 years, more intake as our own officer population increases, which does not relieve us of our obligations to our partner countries, our allies, that we must still continue to provide training for. Because even if we feel that we don't want to provide training for them, it is still in our advantage for us to have these gentlemen come from their countries to come and share their experiences, and through that we also make friends and improve our own defense diplomatic efforts. So we must continue to provide this for them. So we will still need additional structures for participants. We will still need to complete permanent sites, which is still there, uncompleted. So if our funding posture is not enhanced, it will be difficult for us to meet up with all these with all these challenges. But by and large, we want to still place on record that the committee has always stood by the college, and we appreciate your help at all times. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Are you?
Others are debt of information and communication technology, poor electrical supply, and unavailability of public water supply to the center. So our effort to put all this in shape have been continuous, but amidst dwindling and insufficient budgetary allocations. For instance, the planned increase of intake from 2,000 to 4,000, because recently, sir, we have requested that instead of personnel leaving the service going straight to Oshodi, we should think of bringing people who have at least 3 to 5 years before leaving the service, so that they have enough time before leaving the service to plan their lives and make useful use of their gratuity.
So you can take a bow, and this meeting is adjourned sine die.
Sorry, sir, can you talk to us about the importance of remembrance?
No, it's one of us. The importance of to remember the fallen heroes and to show concern to their families and to support our gallant soldiers and the veterans. That is the importance of it. So we are going to celebrate that tomorrow, and I wish all of you will be there.